The vigilante citizen is delivering a brand of justice.
A film effectively exiled from Germany's mainstream distribution network was suddenly broadcast to the entire globe.
That some believe the authorities have failed to provide, targeting both criminals and those in power accused of allowing crime to flourish unchecked.
When Elon Musk decided to amplify Citizen Vigilante on his platform, granting free access for 48 hours, the floodgates opened.
During that time, it attracted major attention online and quickly became a talking point across social media.
Yet the ensuing uproar was never truly about a single, ultra-violent piece of cinema. It was a proxy war, a direct confrontation over a much larger and far more dangerous question. In the digital age, who actually possesses the authority to dictate the boundaries of European free speech? At its core, Citizen Vigilante traces the descent of Sanders, a wealthy American expatriate who watches the European justice system fracture before his eyes, eventually deciding to hunt down perpetrators with his own hands.
Tech titan Elon Musk has found himself at the center of a new debate after sharing actor Armie Hammer's controversial film Citizen Vigilante on X. Musk posted the movie on his X account last week, making it available to his more than 240 million followers.
The narrative is blunt and unforgiving. It takes the very real, very palpable frustration of institutional failure and weaponizes it into a blood-soaked revenge fantasy. But movies like this do not just appear out of nowhere. They are not born in a political vacuum. They are summoned by the precise anxieties of the era they reflect.
A drunk 15-year-old girl was raped by a group of men in a park in Hamburg. The rapist stole her wallet and phone, so she was unable to call the police or her friends. There are reports that the attack was filmed and shared on WhatsApp, calling nearby friends of the rapists to come and join in.
3 years after the crimes and following an 18-month trial spanning 67 court days, the verdicts have been delivered. In her justification of the ruling, the presiding judge reproached the defendants, who were between 16 and 20 years old at the time of the crime, noting that not one of them had expressed a single word of regret throughout the trial.
Of all the details to emerge from that courtroom, one specific number ignited the public consciousness: 2 years and 9 months.
The trial proceedings spanned 68 sessions and were conducted in a closed court environment. This protocol is mandated by juvenile legal statutes, which were applied here even to those who had reached adulthood at the time of the incidents.
The legal framework surrounding the judgment was undeniably complex, built on the strict nuances of juvenile law and suspended sentences.
Not arbitrarily, of course, but following expert advice from youth psychiatrists and an assessment by the Youth Court Assistance Services, because overall these were acts committed by young people.
The court reached a definitive verdict based on biological evidence found on the victim's clothing, confirming that multiple unauthorised sexual encounters took place in the park. However, specific indicators of physical force or overt intimidation could not be established. Previously, such findings might have resulted in acquittals. Yet, under revised sexual conduct legislation, even interactions that appear consensual are not treated as such if there is substantial doubt regarding the individual's capacity to freely form and express their will.
The legal reality was complex, but public memory reduced it to something visceral: a 15-year-old victim, multiple convicted attackers, and almost nobody behind bars. Citizen Vigilante took that collective anger and turned it into fiction. Enter Uwe Boll, a German director long synonymous with cinematic trash, multiple Golden Raspberry nominations, a Razzie Lifetime Achievement Award, a man who once literally boxed his critics in a ring. He retired in 2016, but the retirement didn't stick.
When you made this movie with Armie Hammer, did you think it was going to be a #1 movie on Apple and Amazon?
No. But I think I know I would steer the pot, that people will flipping out about the movie.
Boll claims he is exposing the ugly truths that political correctness tries to bury.
That was clear for me because I did something what nobody else even tried to do, to give some brutal, real impact into this whole mess of the migration situation in Europe, so I really wanted to put the finger in the wound.
His critics see A Dangerous Instigation, a film that channels immigrant crime into collective hatred, marketing private violence as a political cure. Soon, the battleground shifted from film critics to Germany's regulatory state.
Citizen Vigilante is an anti-immigrant movie that follows the main character Sanders as he goes on a blood spree to take vengeance on criminals who have flooded Europe. The criminals all resemble immigrants, while law enforcement is depicted as inactive and antagonistic. Sanders doesn't stop at killing perpetrators, but also takes out their families. Critics have described it as poorly produced rage bait. However, there are no proceedings to ban the movie in Germany.
Initially, the rating board refused to classify the home entertainment release. They argued the vivid vigilantism could disorient minors, but the film was never legally erased.
The FSK provides age ratings for movies similar to that in other countries. At first, Citizen Vigilante did not receive any rating, basically meaning too tough to rate. The FSK assesses films under Germany's youth protection laws. They state two main reasons for not providing a rating: the depiction of extreme violence and the glorification of vigilante justice.
Unrated content can still reach verified adults, despite the massive commercial hurdles. Then, on July 6th, the theatrical cut secured an adults-only FSK 18 rating. By then, the damage was done. The mere attempt to restrict the film had morphed into its ultimate marketing campaign.
Schauen wir hier nach Riesa!
Citizen Vigilante did not create this political earthquake. Neither did Elon Musk. Long before the movie dropped, the AfD had entrenched itself as Germany's second largest political force. By July 2026, polls placed them firmly at the top, capturing 28% of the electorate, 6 points ahead of the traditional union parties. The film simply struck a match in a room already filled with gas.
Friedrich Merz has decided to maintain his blockade stance towards the AfD. We consider this blockade to be undemocratic. You cannot exclude millions of voters per se, and accordingly, it is up to the CDU or CSU how it deals with this.
A movie and a political party are not the same thing, yet the parallel is striking. The AfD claims the establishment is silencing a legitimate political movement. Boll claims the establishment is silencing a legitimate cultural work. In both arenas, censorship became the ultimate proof of the restricted narrative. Push something out of the mainstream, and you only make it stronger for an audience that already despises the mainstream.
I'm very excited for the AfD, and I think you are really the best hope for Germany. I think some things that something I think that is just very important is that people take pride in Germany and being German. This is very important. We must protect free speech, and free speech only matters, it's only relevant when it's someone you don't like saying something you don't like, because obviously speech that you like is, that's easy. So it's the thing about censorship is that, sure, for those who would advocate it, just remember, at some point, that will be turned on you.
We call the free market the invisible hand. But a tech giant controlling global distribution, ranking, and algorithms is anything but invisible. It is an empire with a king. Europe has the wealth, the engineers, the infrastructure, but it lacks its own digital town square. Without a platform to rival X, Meta, or YouTube, European political discourse remains entirely dependent on American code.
Today, the Commission has issued a fine of €120 million to X for breaching the Digital Services Act. This is the first ever fine under the DSA. X has indeed breached its transparency obligation under the DSA. This includes X's blue checkmark. It deceives users, anyone can pay to obtain the verified status.
Europe knows it has a problem. Under the Digital Services Act, the European Commission investigated X's content systems and demanded transparency. Musk countered, branding European regulation as pure censorship. The European Union called it democratic accountability, but both are fighting for the exact same prize: absolute control over the information ecosystem. Germany tried to contain citizen Vigilante using its traditional rules. Musk bypassed those rules with a single click. He didn't overturn the German state, he just made it irrelevant. Citizen Vigilante doesn't matter. The movie will eventually rot in streaming libraries and fade into internet history, but the rift it exposed is permanent. Europe is trying to enforce sovereign rules inside a digital arena it does not own. American tech platforms did not invent Europe's immigration crisis or the AfD. They simply built superhighways around the old institutional gates. The final question goes far beyond one trashy movie or one eccentric billionaire. Who truly controls the public square?